Welcome back. I'm glad to see you again. Today we're talking about one of the biggest mysteries in Poppy Playtime, the Hour of Joy. Thousands of employees worked at Playtime Co. But after that day, almost all of them disappeared. What really happened to them? Did they escape? Did they survive? Or did something far worse happen inside the factory? Stay until the end, because the final theory might be the darkest one yet. Let's begin. What really happened to the employees during the Hour of Joy? Thousands of people worked inside Playtime Co. Scientists, engineers, security guards, office workers. But after the Hour of Joy, almost all of them vanished. And that's what makes this event so terrifying. Because when we explore the factory years later, we see abandoned rooms, broken equipment, and signs of chaos. But where did all the workers go? Most fans assume the employees were simply killed during the massacre. And while many probably were, the evidence suggests the story isn't that simple. Think about it. A factory this large would have had thousands of workers. Yet when the player explores Playtime Co., there aren't thousands of bodies scattered everywhere, which raises a disturbing question. If they didn't all die where they stood, where did they end up? But there's another theory that's much darker. What if the experiments didn't just attack randomly? What if specific employees were targeted first? The scientists? The researchers? The people responsible for the Bigger Bodies initiative? If the experiments remembered what happened to them, then revenge may have been aimed directly at the people who created their suffering. And honestly, that would explain why the Hour of Joy felt so organized. Security systems failed. Entire departments disappeared. Communication collapsed almost immediately. This doesn't feel like random violence. It feels planned, almost like someone knew exactly where to strike first. And many fans believe that someone was the prototype. If the prototype really led the uprising, then it may have had access to information nobody else did. Employee records, security routes, restricted areas. The prototype could have known exactly which workers were involved in the experiments. And if that's true, then the Hour of Joy may have been much more coordinated than people realize. But what happened after the attacks? That's where things get even stranger. Because some parts of the factory look abandoned in a hurry. Papers left on desks, equipment left running, personal belongings still sitting where employees left them. It almost feels like people disappeared before they had time to react.
Not Poppy. She's always been his favorite.
And then there's the possibility that some workers survived. Imagine being trapped inside Playtime Co. after the Hour of Joy. No rescue, no way out, monsters hiding around every corner. Some employees may have survived for days, weeks, maybe even longer, hiding in maintenance tunnels and sealed rooms, hoping someone would eventually find them. The deeper you think about it, the scarier it becomes. Because survival inside Playtime Co. wouldn't just be difficult, it would be a nightmare. Food would run out, power systems would fail, and every sound could attract an experiment. If anyone survived, their lives would have become a constant fight to stay alive. And honestly, that's what makes the Hour of Joy so mysterious. We know something terrible happened. We know the employees disappeared, but we still don't know exactly how many escaped, how many died, or how many may still be hidden somewhere inside the factory. And that mystery might be one of the darkest secrets in all of Poppy Playtime. But there's something even more unsettling that fans often overlook. If thousands of employees truly vanished, there should have been clear evidence of mass evacuation or mass casualties. Yet the factory feels strangely selective. Almost like certain areas were completely wiped clean, while others were left untouched. That inconsistency raises a lot of questions about what really happened during the Hour of Joy. Some theories suggest the factory itself played a role in the disappearances. Playtime Co. wasn't just a workplace. It was a massive experimental facility filled with hidden systems, secret doors, and controlled environments. If those systems were hacked or overridden during the chaos, entire groups of employees could have been isolated and taken without ever reaching the surface. And then there's the idea that the factory wasn't just collapsing, it was actively changing. Doors locking behind people, hallways redirecting movement, security protocols activating without human input. It almost feels like the building itself turned into a trap. And if that's true, escaping wouldn't have depended on luck, it would have depended on the factory allowing it. Another disturbing detail is the silence. In an event as massive as the Hour of Joy, you'd expect lingering signs of struggle everywhere. But instead, there's this eerie quiet, almost like everything happened fast and then stopped abruptly. That kind of silence suggests either extreme efficiency or something far more controlled than a random outbreak. Some fans believe the experiments didn't just attack workers, they learned from them. These weren't mindless creatures, they were once human or human-made subjects. If they retained memory or intelligence, they might have understood exactly who the employees were and what roles they played inside the company. That would make the entire event feel a lot more targeted. And if that's true, then fear alone wouldn't explain everything. Because fear causes chaos. But what we see hints at patterns. Certain departments collapsing first. Specific zones going dark in sequence. That kind of structure suggests planning? Or at least a shared goal among the experiments inside the facility? There's also the possibility that Playtime Co. knew something was coming. Some documents and leftover records suggest unusual activity before the hour of joy. Emergency protocols, restricted experiments being moved, security tightening in certain wings of the factory. It almost feels like the company sensed the disaster, but couldn't stop it in time. And yet, despite all of this preparation, it still wasn't enough. Whatever happened inside the factory overwhelmed every system in place. Security failed, communication broke instantly, and within a very short time, the entire structure fell into silence. That level of collapse suggests something far beyond a normal containment breach. What makes this even more terrifying is the idea that someone might still be inside. Not just experiments, but survivors. People who never made it out. People who adapted to living inside the ruins of Playtime Co. If they exist, they would have spent years hiding in the darkness, learning every sound, every corridor, every danger. And that leaves us with the biggest question of all. Was the hour of joy truly the end of Playtime Co? Or was it just the beginning of something worse still happening inside the factory? Because the deeper you look, the more it feels like the story isn't finished. It's still unfolding somewhere in the shadows.